Hey everybody. I was asked to create a quick screencastify to share three quick and easy tools for teachers to be able to have in their toolkits around helping ELL students and special ed students and anyone who needs reinforcement of content language or just the English language. So here goes. I am using Screencastify to record what I'm doing, so kind of modeling what I've been doing with teachers. And if you don't know how to use Screencastify, it's very simple. You would just add it as an extension and then hit record, and you can opt to even have your webcam on so you can have the little personal person in the side telling people how to do things. So here goes. In doing some work here at Durfee with John McCarthy, we were thinking about specifically two questions that we wanted to ask ourselves in terms of servicing our ELLs. So the first one is, how are we using both innovative tech and basic tech to engage our kids? So how are we using Google Classroom? How are we using just plain old Google Apps? How are we using Google Drawings, Google PowerPoint, everything to engage our ELL students specifically? And then also, how are we using more exciting things like Flipgrid and stuff like that? We're also looking at how we could potentially try to replicate parts of English immersion into a student's day if they are home or remote. So that being said, wanted to talk to you about a few things that I put in this PowerPoint presentations link. I will share the PowerPoint presentation with everyone, and it is public so that you can play around with it. But these three things, very quick, very simple, probably things that you may already know exist, but thinking about them along the lens of remote teaching might make some sense for you. So the first thing is CC in a PPT, so closed captioning in a PowerPoint. So many of us work from PowerPoints in Google PowerPoint and love doing that. We have a lot of content built in there. So how can you engage kids using language, specifically content language or explanations, both with the explanations said and written? So if you are in a PowerPoint, just like I am right now, so again, I'm going to model what I want to teach you how to do. You can go to present. And when you go to present, you'll notice that your little tab comes up at the bottom here. Now, here you have closed captions. If you click on that, when you do and speak, your computer will create closed captions based on what it hears you say. You can use this as a teacher during Google Meets, or you could screencastify yourself going through the explanations that support the information in your PowerPoint. Easy enough, right? Pretty cool. So again, that's just going into present mode and then clicking closed captions. In there, when you do the closed captions, you have other options. You can change the position of the text to top or bottom based on the content and the composition of your slides, or you can change the size to anything you want it to be. Fun, super cool. Okay. So going to the next thing, and I have a link to a real Google tutorial in here, but I figured I'd do one myself. The next thing is voice to text in Google Docs. So this is fun, but also can be useful for kids as they're exercising their listening and speaking and practicing with enunciation. So basically, if you were in your Drive and you created just a simple doc. Now, again, how would a teacher use this? They could potentially, let me get a new doc up for you. They could potentially be asking students to respond to an open-ended question and have the kids open up a Google Doc and respond verbally, and then maybe take a look at what they've got and then adjust as they need to. So if I was a student and my teacher asked me to do this, here's how I could do it. So if I go into Tools and down to Voice Typing, now the first time a kid does this, or a teacher does this, or anyone does this, is going to ask you, allow to use microphone. Of course, you would have to say yes for it to work. And then once you do, this will always pop up. So once the student clicks on the mic, and it turns red, it will begin to create text based on what it hears the person say, period. Students can respond to open-ended questions, comma. Students can put thoughts down on paper, comma. Students can use this to translate as needed. I can show you how to do that, period, period, period. Student is done, hits the mic, shuts it down, okay? I mean, I think we all know this, but just in case you didn't, anytime a student has a document open in Google Docs and they want to translate it, they can go to Tools, hit Translate, choose the language, and that will translate it for them into a copy of that document. So if they wanted to kind of look at comprehension or kind of use, side by side to check out what they've actually got going on, they could do that with that. Super fun. Okay, and so the last thing I wanted to show you today was closed captions and translations in YouTube. So many of us use YouTube for tutorial videos or looking at primary source videos for social studies, stuff like that. So if you are looking to do that and really have some reinforcement of language for kids, you can simply bring up the YouTube video. So I have one of my faves here, talking about how to build Google Slides for kids to work in. And I'm going to hit play and show you how to do it.
Center it.
So this is a teacher talk, but if you notice here in the bottom of the video, there is CC, closed captions. Many of us use this when we're watching Netflix because you know how that goes. Sometimes those English shows are really hard to understand, right? But in this, if you, or in this case, maybe the student hits closed captions, it'll bring it up in English for the student.
Let me go ahead.
That's wonderful because now you're reinforcing the language, so they're listening and they're reading at the same time, and so thus being immersed into the English language, right?
Yes,
but if a student is a newcomer and they're sort of grappling with, geez, what does that mean? They can always go into settings,
keep it as that. I don't really care. I'm going to come back
click
to
on
my
subtitles,
slides, and I'm going to
go to auto translate,
image from my computer, because I do want to show you that if you add a GIF or a GIF, it
select
will
the language that they
animate,
wish to have it
this way,
translated.
So I'm going to put that in. That looks pretty good. I might drag this text box over. Okay, that slide's pretty good. I'm now going to duplicate this.
So this
right-click,
gives the student,
layout,
potentially Portuguese native speaker, just that little scaffold of what is being said.
Okay,
you can also go in and change the speed
oh my gosh, my
if you want to. I mean, if it's too fast for you, you can go a little bit slower so that kids can really grasp the content. Just a few quick little tidbits for you. I'm going to shut this down and hope you enjoyed today's little mini tutorial on how to use closed captions to support your students who are acquiring or improving their English language skills. Thank you.